टीवी पंजाब ते तुहाडा सब दा स्वागत है। साथियों, अज गल करांगे इंडिया ते कनेडा विचाले दुबल्ले व्यापार दी अते दोनों देशों विचाले हुई एक्सट्राडिशन ट्रीटी दी। ਇਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ कि काफ़ी लंबे समय तो दोनों देशों विचाले व्यापार सुधारन ਦੀਆਂ काफ़ी कोशिशें हो रही ने ते कनेडा जिहड़ा है अपने लैवल ते हर संभव कोशिश कर रहा है कि अपनी इंडो पैसिफिक ट्रीटी के तहत इंडिया के नाल व्यापारक संबंध अपने सुधारे। दूजे पासे जदों इंडिया की गल आउंदी है, इंडिया भी चाहता है कि कनेडा नाल व्यापारक संबंध जिहड़े ने वो नैक्सट लैवल ते ले जाए जाण, पर उसदे लई ये संकेत मिले ने कि वो कई तरीके दीयां शर्तां रखदा जापदा। उहदे च इंडिया चाहता है कि कनेडा जिहड़े खालिस्तानी एलीमेंट ने उन्हां ते पूरी तरह नत्थ पावे, उन्हां दियां खालिस्तानियां दियां जिन्नियां भी कनेडा की धरती तो गतिविधियां हो रही ने उन्हां नूं पूरी तरह रोके। इस तो इलावा इंडिया ये भी चाहता है कि जिहड़ी दोनों देशों विचाले एक्सट्राडिशन ट्रीटी है उहदे च बहुत तेजी लिआंदी जावे ताकि सिद्धू मूसे वाले कतलकांड के मास्टरमाइंड गोल्डी बराड़ जां होर कोई भी कुख्यात अपराधी जो इंडिया नूं लगदा भी वो इंडिया च घटनावां च शामिल ने ते उस तो बावजूद वो कनेडा च एक शरण लई हुई है, उन्होंने इत्थे छुपे हुए ने, उन्होंने तेजी नाल इंडिया च ले जाया जा सके। इस दे लई ये शर्तां वो रखदा जापदा, पर कनेडा विच कुछ सिख संस्थावां नूं जापदा है कि कनेडा की गवर्नमेंट इंडियन गवर्नमेंट के दबाव हेठ आ सकती है। इस संबंध विच वर्ल्ड सिख ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लीगल कौंसल बलप्रीत सिंह ने कनेडा की पार्लीमेंटरी कमेटी फॉर जस्टिस एंड ह्यूमन राइट्स अगे पेश होके अपने ये खासे जाहिर किए ने। उन्होंने कमेटी अगे बोलते की कहा वो भी दिखाने हैं तुहानूं।
There's a lot of evidence to suggest that torture is routine and very common in India. And this is common knowledge among Sikhs that Sikh political activists taken into custody in India are brutally tortured as a matter of routine. So given the context within which the India-Canada Treaty was negotiated, specifically with a desire to target members of the Sikh community, and the fact that during almost every bilateral meeting between Canada and India for well over a decade, Indian officials have made unsubstantiated allegations of extremist activity in this Canadian Sikh community, there's a real fear that Sikhs in Canada may be extradited to India and face false charges and torture. On several occasions over the past few years, India has in fact presented Canada with lists of Sikhs in Canada it wants to have extradited. What India deems as extremism is in fact Sikh advocacy on various issues India finds objectionable, and all are protected under Canada's right to freedom of speech. But India has nevertheless repeatedly demanded that Canada crack down on Sikh activists in the country. Specifically now, in the light of Canada's launched Indo-Pacific strategy, India High Commissioner has said that in order to improve ties, Canada must crack down on segments of the Sikh community in Canada that are offering support and money to secessionists who want to separate Punjab from India. There's no evidence to substantiate that allegation, but we are afraid that Canada may be pressured by India to extradite Sikh activists in return for closer ties with the country. And it wouldn't be the first time that Canada's buckled to Indian political pressure. In the past, where visas to members of Indian security forces have been denied due to suspected involvement in human rights violations, Indian protests have in fact resulted in those visas being issued. And it's also felt that in the aftermath of the Prime Minister's 2018 trip to India, the term Sikh (Khalistan extremism) was added to the Public Safety Report on Terror at the insistence of the Indian government. So it's our firm position that if extradition is a political consideration that does not have human rights as a central consideration, that's not right. So diplomatic assurances are also not a solution because they're unenforceable, and where there's in fact a violation, both countries have very little incentive to bring that breach to light. So we submit that Canada should not have an extradition treaty with a country that has human rights abuses or that have failed to ratify human rights treaties. And as such, the India-Canada extradition treaty does not meet the necessary standards. That's my submission.